to Northeastern here in Boston, you'll find the man some are calling college basketball's best-kept secret, Reggie Lewis, another Dunbar product. Reggie Lewis was the Poets' sixth man on the 82-83 national championship team. He played behind Reggie Williams and went mostly unnoticed, but Northeastern noticed, and as a freshman last year, he averaged 18 points. This year, it's up to 23, and even his coach admits he didn't realize how good he was.
I could lie to you and tell you that I expected that, but no, I didn't. I expected Reggie to be very good, just like Bob Wade said, and Duty had told us that he'd be a terrific player. You know, I thought he'd be a very solid player, but to tell us that he probably was one of the better freshmen in the country last year, averaging 18 a game and having...
Lewis, who lost his life by playing for the Boston Celtics, what kind of person was he off the court?
Reg was unbelievable. He took Boston to heights where nobody thought they would go after Larry Bird had retired. Reg became that guy, and who knew what would have happened if Lenny Boston had been there with him. I mean, that's how special Reg was in terms of his ability to galvanize all the guys around him. I mean, Reg, he gave MJ troubles. That's how difficult Reg was. His length, it was hard for him in terms of, because he played both ends of the floor. People didn't understand that. Reg played both ends of the floor. He had the total package, mid-range, he could shoot the three ball, and you never sped him up in terms of wanting to play him at a certain speed. He played his speed every time that he stepped on the court.
You know, everybody gonna remember Reggie. Yeah, Reggie was one of the ones who was the most successful in the NBA out of our group in high school.
They haven't forgotten about him here in Baltimore, what he meant to this program, to the city, to the state of Maryland. I'm just so proud of all of his accomplishments, really am.
See that smile right there? That smile right there, that's Reg. I mean, he has so much to give. Just his presence, you know, he cared for everybody.
In my office, I always had a picture here at ViewCon of all my kids and Reggie. I'll miss him forever, and he was like a child of mine. I mean it honestly. We all have to deal with loss. But I always remember the Reggie. I remember Reggie hitting game winners. I remember Reggie being drafted. I remember Reggie being captain of the Celtics. I remember so much positive and great things about Reggie Lewis that nothing in this world could ever take that away from me, and until the day I die.
You know, you want to see a great player, y'all probably don't know, go look up Reggie Lewis, go YouTube that. I'll make it a point to make sure people really know who he is. This person that, you know, I remember every day of my life.
He laughed very readily. That's who he was. And he didn't need to change because he could play.
He was a great kid. Came in to a team full of superstars. And he learned how to be a leader. And you know what? In professional basketball, we don't have enough leaders.
Would Jim Calhoun have gotten the UConn job? Would I have become the head coach in Northeastern? He changed so many people's lives because he was such a great, humble person that his success, he carried a lot of people along with him.
When I think of Reggie, the master of the first step.
Reggie Lewis was one of the great ones. If he had lived and finished out his career, you know, he would be in the hall right now.
We lost the captain, we lost an all-star, we lost a Celtic, but we also lost a friend. And he is a darn good friend, and I miss him.
You know, people just don't understand. Life can be taken away from you just that quickly. And he reached the highest pinnacle that he had envisioned for himself, which was the NBA. Man, I just miss him.
What?
In the NBA All-Star
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know Russ ended up being the captain with the Nuggets, but...
Wingate say that in one of the interviews. He was like, man, he did better than all of us when we got to the league.
Oh, facts. I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
He destroyed them. I mean, you look at it. When he played against his classmates,
Yeah.
who gave it to him? None of them.
No.
None of them.
No, ain't nobody.
I mean, none of them. So they get to talking. People get to talking. Man, they gotta always put respect on his name, on his legacy. If they want to talk about it, they want to talk about it, and I'll die with this. I'll die with this, and I'll take that. Lewis was that dude.
Yeah.
And I'm not no groupie. But as far as a brother and the loyalty and watching him play, and the people that played with him, and the people that know him, man, come on, man. I mean, that's legacy even to this day, man. You talk about a classmate, a brother. That if anybody ever knew him, it's different when you already know it. You know who was in your class.
Yeah.
And you know who you root for.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't play sports. You ain't no groupie dude, but you already know who was a baller.
Right.
You know who was a baller.
Right.
But then when you get to college and you see him do your thing, I'm like, he just punish him up. Then you get to the league. He was punishing them too. Everybody, you know what really gets me?
Right.
Everybody else getting his glory, but they didn't do what he did. They didn't do what he did. They didn't do what he did, and he did it at a level that was. He did it against all the top players of the NBA.
Yeah.
All the top players. So they talk about all the players that went to school with us. They came off of that team. You talk about Muggs, and you talk about Reggie Lewis.
Yeah. And they all played a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine and dandy. Because the bottom line is, which one of those ones out of there that left that, who they talk about? Well, they probably they former players, but who they talk about the most, though?
Yeah.
Muggs and Truck.
And it seems like Truck don't get enough. It seems like he still don't get enough light, though.
Man, because when he first had the incident on the court, he was killing Charlotte. He started off with 12.
Yeah. I remember that game. I was watching that game.
He was ready to go again. He was ready to go off again. Ready to go off again. He was ready to get, somebody was going to get that, I hate to use my man word, Kwame Brown. He was going to get that mama's cooking. Because he used to, like to me, he used to love playing against them. That when he was in here in Maryland or in Baltimore was on the team, he used to cook them. It's like he just went to work. I mean, in that mid-range game, a three-point game, and he was big enough to play. He was big enough and long enough to go down in the paint and do his work.
Man, he ain't waste no dribbles. And his first step was so quick.
Man, I mean, he had his own shoe, had his own commercial. Reggie Lewis for first damn.
Lewis around the world jam. Reggie reverse jam.
That's reverse jam.
That's Reggie Lewis.